This is an introduction to how to get started with your Visual Studio project that you're going to use for OOP SA1. For you to get started with this project, the first thing you need to do is clone the Visual Studio project from my own repository. The link for that's provided in the assignment brief. When you click it, it will allow you to click on the code button here and copy the repository information. To then get a copy of that repository, you need to go into Visual Studio 2022, and when it opens up it will give you the option of starting either a new project or cloning one from an existing repository. So selecting the Clone a Repository button will then allow you to paste in that repository information, and it will copy it into your own repositories. Okay, so just so you know where your files are, mine are under users, me, source, repos, and then SA1-2022. Yours will obviously be replaced by your username, so where you see me. Clicking clone will then connect Visual Studio, at which point you will see this. Okay, so it's an empty screen. The reason is because there are a number of projects within your solution. If we look to the right, you will see that there is basically where you're going to work, which is SA1 Solution 2022. And if you open that up, you'll find under header files there is a grade.h file. So this is where you're going to develop your class. It has already some basic stuff in there to try and make your life a little bit easier and to give you a quick start. So in this example, which is what you'll download as well, you'll notice that the two structures that you need to be able to pass data in and out of some of your methods are already created for you. Your class definition is created for you, and there are an example of two methods that have been implemented. Neither of these methods form anything to do with your assessment. They are purely here for this demonstration, and you can delete them out if you so wish at the end of completing your assignment. So at this point now, the first thing you need to recognize is that although there is under the source files a solution file with a CPP file that actually allows you to create a program, I've put a very important comment in there to say you are not writing a program. So if you run this, all you're actually going to get is my prompt, which is basically, if you're writing stuff in here, you've missed the point of test-driven development. Okay, so you are not writing a program. So what you should infer from that is running that button there is not going to make any difference when you want to use your project. So I'm going to close that down, and that just leaves us with this grade.h file. Now what we need to do is we need to be able to write code and test it. So to allow us to do that, you'll find that there are a number of test projects that allow you to check out whether or not parts of your code are working. And if I build my project at the moment, then you'll find that it will not only build the solution file, it will also build all of these test ones as well. Now you will start to panic at this point because you will see lots of error messages saying things are wrong. The reason these are wrong are because you haven't written the methods that you need to complete for these tests to run. So if you look on here, I've already got a demo unit test available, and this tests the two methods that we've actually got in our project, which is add and subtract. So for us to run those tests, what happens is that I will have pre-created in each of these projects a unit test file. Okay, so this isn't something you have to modify. This is something that runs automatically when you run the tests. So if you look into here now, you'll see already it includes the grades.h file that you're going to edit, and it's also got tests that test the add method and the subtract method. that is in the grades.h file. Okay, so this one and this one. So the obvious thing to point out is that the add works because it adds the two items together and returns the result. The subtract doesn't, because it doesn't subtract data item 1 from data item 2, it subtracts data item 1 from itself, so it's going to fail the test. So how do we run the tests on our project? So when you go up to test, you'll find there is a separate window called Test Explorer. What Test Explorer does is it allows you to go through the process of checking each of the methods that you create in your class, and it will report back whether it's passed or failed. So in its default state, so what I've done is I've gone into the project and I've built the project. Once I've built it, I've started the Test Explorer. Because I've built the project, Test Explorer has recognised that the things that are working are the two tests we've created, add test and subtract test. Okay, so as a consequence of that, you'll see there are exclamation marks against it. So as I hover over it, you should be able to say that it says not run. So what I'm able to do is I'm able to pick a test, and I'll just make this window a little bit bigger so you can see what it says on that side as well. Okay, so this is going to be a great test. It's going to give me a nice green tick because everything's working correctly. So if I right click on it and I press run. Okay, so what happens now is it runs that test and it gives me a lovely green tick. Now the advantage of that is that lovely green tick means that that test code that I created there, which checks to see whether 5 plus 9.5, when it's the result of that, when I call the add, actually comes back to the same as the calculation in here. If that had failed, that would mean that add had not added together those two numbers correctly. Now, that's great, because now we've got a nice working one, but we also should recognise that the subtract one's going to fail, because what it's actually going to do is going to take 5 away from 5, which is what was in the code. So if we can try and make that a little bit clearer, I'll run the test, and what you'll see will happen is this will be a situation where this test comes back as failed. So now you get the horrible red circle with a black cross in it. And it actually gives you some feedback to say what went wrong. So if I just stretch that out a little bit so you can read it properly, you'll see, right, what we've tried to do is we've tried to run demo unit test CPP. When we ran that test, we got a result of minus 4.5. Sorry, we expected a result of minus 4.5. We got a result of 0, which is exactly what you would expect as the error condition, because when you take 9.5 away from 5, that is minus 4.5. When we called that method, it gave back 0. And as we've already identified, the issue with that was that we were subtracting the same item away from itself, so consequently that means that you get 0. So there's an example of where a test has failed. So that's what's going to happen to you, unfortunately, as you develop your code. You're going to run the tests and things are not going to work correctly. So if we actually look at this in a little bit more detail now, the thing that we want to concentrate on is, oh no, the subtract test doesn't work. So we know that the issue is that what we should be doing is what's on this line above, which is, I'll comment this out, although it doesn't have to be. We want to return data item 1 minus data item 2, which are the two parameters that we've got for this subtract method. So I've corrected it in my code. So all I need to do now is go back to my test, and then we run it. And lo and behold, now we've got a successful run for that subtract test. Now the things that you need to recognise is all of a sudden we've got a green tick in a black circle. That's because we've only run one test, and as a consequence of that, this one is now an old test. It means it's run, but it's a historical one. It's passed, but we haven't run it in the current test run that we did. Okay, so we can do them all individually. We can also say we're going to run just the ones in this subsection. And at that point you see they've both gone green because they were both run on this particular instance. So that's an example of some really successful test fixing. We've got it all working. We looked at the data and we worked out what the problems were. But you can only see demo unit test. Okay, what you can't see is you can't see the tests for the third, the 2.2, the 2.1 or the first. Okay, the reason for that is because for you to run the third tests, it needs to know about the methods that you're supposed to write for a third. So if we look at the source files for the third, you'll see that this will only run when all of these methods have been implemented. So can you see the red underlining? That means that these don't exist in your grading class. So you need to go and develop those based on the specification in the assessment brief. Right. How can you get those to the point where they're visible is that you will have to, first of all, do the basic implementation that's expected. So, for example, sum is going to require us to specify that in our code. So for you, that means at this stage what you would need to be doing, and by the way, I'm not going to give you an answer here, this is just an example. For example, you might want to total up a load of floats. So sum might, it doesn't, but we'll give it as an example. We'll total up a set of floats. So we're going to have a vector of floats in this case. So okay, so you're going to have to implement the signature, create the signature, and then you're going to have to implement that to be able to create a test. So what I'm going to do is just copy that for a second and bring it down here, and we'll create an implementation of that. Okay, so we have to put the grade bit in, don't we, because we're going to be referencing that. And then normally you would write some code, but just for the moment I'm just going to return a value of 0. So because I've written that, that means that I've now created what we call a stub, a code stub, which means that if we completed that for sum, and we completed it for mean, and we completed it for variance, okay, which were the three methods you have to, sorry, apologies, I went on the wrong one, the three that you have to create for our program to work, okay, for a third. And if you remember, we also had to use overloading, so that means that we have to have created a mean for doubles, and we also need to create a mean for integers, okay, and the same for sum. So if you create the code stubs for all of those things, even though you haven't created the code to solve the problem, and just make sure they return a data type that is correct, okay, then as soon as you've done that, this will then compile, and then you will not only see demo unit tests, but you will also see under here the ones for the third. And then if you do the same for the 2.2 and the 2.1, as you do each of those, then you will find that those tests will appear in the test explorer. You'll be able to run them and check that you're doing things correctly. Okay, so for absolute clarity, the example I've given here of sum is close to what you need, but it's not exactly right. You also need to use overloading for sum as well, and you also need to do mean. So for this to get the third tests up, you would need 2 versions of sum, 2 versions of mean, and you'd need 1 version of the population variance, because that didn't have any overloaded methods. Okay, so at that point we've demoed the basics of how these things work. Every time you start this project, you will need to build first. okay, before you start